Welcome back to Dubbzi Bricks for another episode of building Gotham City in Lego, and we've had our delivery come in, and in here I'm hoping are all of the pieces to do the roof of the Arkham Asylum, or certainly the main structure itself. There should also be the fence elements in here as well. So let's crack this open and let's see what's in there. And as you can see, there's a lot of black pieces in here. We've also got some parts for the Tantive, and I also picked up several pieces for a Blacktron mock that I would like to do one day. And I thought I'd better get the pieces now whilst they're still available, as the set's been retired, and that normally means that the pieces, if they're unique to that set, will disappear from the Pick-a-Brick selection. So without further ado, let's sort this package out and I'll show you exactly what we purchased. And here we have the order all sorted, and I like to check the order when it comes in, as I've had so many experiences where the orders have been incomplete from lego.com. It's better to be safe than sorry, but luckily this one didn't take too long to go through. Now what I'm going to do now, I'm just going to go through each piece we've got here and what we're going to use them for. So first up, we have these corner roof tiles here, or slopes, 45-degree slopes. So that's for the top of Arkham Asylum, and then we've got the normal 2x2 slopes. Got some cockpit glasses here. This is for a future Blacktron mock. And at the back, we've got some 1x2 and 1x1 white bricks, and therefore my Tantive build. We've got these fence elements here, which is for the fence around Arkham Asylum. Now, I am going to need a lot more of these. Originally, I was just going to do a fence that led from the boat area to the actual building itself. I've decided to put these all the way around the entire island. So, yeah, I'm going to need several more of those. Got some arches there to go on the top of the tower. We got these 2/3 bricks here, which have got a hole in. So these are going to be perfect for the top of the fence element. I've got an idea for the design of that. So hopefully they're going to come in well. Got some 1x of the 45-degree slopes. We've got some of these rooftop end pieces here, which have got the angle on 3 sides. We've got these snot bricks with the studs on 2 sides. And these are for the fence design. We got some 1x1 black tiles. We have some 2x1 dark brown tiles. Now these are for the edge of the Arkham Asylum. At the moment I've got light bluish grey on there, and I'm not convinced by that. So I'm going to swap them over to dark brown and just see how that looks. And then we've got the 1x1 brown tiles as well. We've got these fence elements here, and these are going to be used on the roof section. We've got a whole load of the 2x3 slopes here. They are going to be for the roof on Arkham Asylum. We've got some of these 4-sided slopes here as well. They're for the details on the top. We've got the 2x3 corner tiles. We've got a selection of chairs here as well. So they're going to be used both in Arkham and around the city as well. I've got 8 of these black Knights helmets. That's for a future mock. The air tanks and the helmets there for some Blacktron figures. I've already got the torsos. Then we've got a whole load of these printed tiles, slopes and cheese wedges, again in the Blacktron. We got some of these modified plates here. Again, this is for a future Blacktron mock, and we've got a load more here as well as these triangular pieces. Got some jumper plates, some of these 1x1 pyramids here as well, which are going to be used on the roof section. These are going to be used on our fence, and we've got some odd sand green tiles there as well, just to finish off the tiling inside of the asylum. And we've got a load more of these L-shaped modified plates. I'm not sure we class them as brackets. Anyway, they're for my Tantive mock as well for the corridor section. So now we've got all of these parts sorted. Let's get the building over to the table and let's make some progress on Arkham Asylum. One thing on this build that I've never been 100% convinced on are these tiles on the corners of the build. And I'm not sure that the light bluish grey works. I think it's a little bit too light. I want this building to be nice and gloomy. And I didn't want to use dark bluish grey as all the rockwork's dark bluish grey. So I decided to give a dark brown a try. And I think this actually looks quite good. It gives the building some subtle details without it standing out too much. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to replace all of the light bluish grey tiles with the dark brown, and fingers crossed it's going to give me the look that I'm after. So that's the majority of the tiling sorted for this room. Still need to do the stairs. Haven't worked out what colour I'm going to do those just yet. And also haven't done Quinn's office just there either. Reason I haven't done that is it's quite fiddly to get into it. And I want to work out what furniture I'm going to put in there before I start doing the floor. So I know where to put the studs on there. But now we've got all of the tiling done, or as much of it as we can. I'm now going to make a start on the roof section on the side here. And there we have the start of the roof section, and there are a few pieces that I still need to order in. I need to get a load more of these. I've just used up all of the ones I ordered, and I haven't got enough for these two parts here, let alone the next roof section up and all the rest of the roof come to that. On here, I want to put the window pieces which have got the arch in them. I think they'll look a little bit better, the same as what you see on the latest Arkham Asylum Lego set. So again, that's another part I need to order in. And also I want to get some tiles to go along the top of there, and I'll possibly put a few pipes coming out just to give it a little bit more detail. And I am also considering putting some spotlights shining down onto parts of the island, but I just need to work out whether or not it's going to look right having them on there. And if I do that, then I will have it so that I connect the wires up to the build inside as well, so it's actually all functioning. So now we've got that section all done, let's put it over onto the model and start the next floor up. And here is the start of the next roof section, and one problem I've got is this little gap here of 2 studs. I would have liked to have had it so that I could use the same pattern all the way along here. So I may put a bird's nest or have some damage on there just to finish that part off just there. Now these windows are not central to this roof section. There's a large bit here than here. And that's just so these 2 windows are in line with the floor below, because I think it just looks a little bit better having it that way around. Now this is a removable roof here, and there is the power board in there, or the connection for the power supply. However, I am thinking it'd probably be better off to put the power supply over on this side. It's going to be very awkward to get the roof out of here to then get the battery box out. And also, I'm not sure whether or not the battery box will actually fit in there. Now, the plan originally was to have the power supply all going through the bottom of the island, through the bottom of the structure into the island. However, I think having this as a standalone power supply is going to be a lot better. So what I'm going to need to do now is just take the roof off and then somehow get the wire from this side over to the other. So I'm going to have to pull up a few of the plates and tiles inside of this floor here, inside this room here, and then that will enable me to get it all sorted. So let's do that first of all, and then once I've done so, I can make a start on the roof section just here. And look at the destruction here, and this is all just to move the wire from this side over to here. So here we have the wire that we're going to be putting across. We've got the trans red studs here, which we'll put along the channel here, just so the wire doesn't get pinched. So let's put that wire all in place and get those walls all built up, and then we can make a start on that roof section. And it's so nice seeing the roof section looking like this. So many pieces I need to order in, and it's a shame that you can't get these fence elements here, little panels I think the class has, is 6 long or 2 long, just so you can fill in the little gaps there. We've got one at the back there as well, but I'm sure we'll find a way of filling these gaps in. And on the back here, we've done this little balcony area here, so this is where Strange can come out and have a look down over Arkham Island. Now this section here, this is a removable panel. However, it's really hard to remove it at the moment as there's nothing to grab hold of, but I will change that so you can do so. And this is where the battery is going to sit, that's going to power up the whole of the actual asylum itself. But now we've got this section all finished, let's make a start on the very top part just here. The plan is we're going to have a flat roof at the back and then the final tower bit at the front. And here we have the start of the very top floor here, and I've decided to do this in 2 separate sections. So this one comes off at the front here, which is going to have the lights in, and then we have this panel at the back here. Now this roof section won't look like this once it's finished. I'm going to tile this all off. So rather than use these plates to connect everything together, it'll be done so using tiles. Inside here, I put some railings at the top of the stairs, just need to put a tile on the floor just there. Now at the front, we've got one of these wireless connector boards here. Now all the lights I'm using here are from Gotham and Bricks, and these are my favourite part. It enables you to have floor after floor with the lights going through without having to actually plug them into each floor from floor to floor. As soon as this touches the reverse, the power goes through and you have lights on there. A really good way of lighting up your mocks, keeping it all nice and tidy. I will leave a link in the description of the video to Gotham and Bricks. If you use the code Dubbzi, you will get 25% off of your order. Highly recommend checking them out. They are fantastic products. And a massive thank you to Dubbzi Bricks for sending the lights over. But on this section just here at the front, we have the reverse of the connector board just there. So as soon as those two pins touch this, we have power going through. Now, the power supply, the lights are coming up here. So we have a connector board just here. And then we have a couple of lights which are going through the back of this snot brick just here. So it's coming through to the front there. So that's going to have the light coming through there. And that will be shining in front of my stained glass window. So that will be sat at the front. Then we'll put the archway or the circle around that. So hopefully that's all going to look good once it's done. It's going to be nice once I can tile off and tidy up this front section here. I was contemplating losing this row of black plates there. I could make that look a little bit better. So the finished effect will be this grey look here, but then I don't know whether it will look good on the back as well. So I just need to have a think about the finished look on there. But anyway, let's carry on building the tower up on here, and I'll check back in once I've done so. And that's the tower all built up, and I've shrunk the roof section here by one stud. So we've got this grey ledge along here, which is nicely tiled. I'm not 100% sold on it on the back here. I'm going to get the tiles in to tidy all of this up so it's nice and smooth. And then once I've done so, I'll make a decision on that, or whether or not I make the black come all the way out over to this part just here. The other option I've got, which I'm not keen on doing, is I could take the grey part here back so it's flush with the brickwork there. But I do quite like having the ledge overhanging. Now on the top here, I'm probably going to put some more of the railing parts, the panels, these ones just here, and then put a cone next to it with an eye pyramid. But again, I just need to order the parts in, like here as well. One other thing I haven't put any of on this build just yet, which will be coming in the future, things like statues, the gargoyles or grotesques and whatnot. So all of those sort of things I do want to put on, and also drain pipes as well. So there's plenty of things still to go on here. But there's the stained glass window all in place. Wires are all in there. So all I need to do is connect the power to it, and then we'll be able to get that all going. And I've done this entire mock and I haven't checked the power or the lights on the actual structure itself once, so it's going to be quite interesting to see if it's all working, whether I've made any mistakes. But we'll cross that bridge a little bit later. Anyway, let's move this structure over to the building and see how it looks once it's all together. And what a difference it makes having the roof structure all on the building, and I'm so happy with the overall look of this. Still so many details I need to put on here. I haven't put the glass in the majority of the windows on there. We've got to put the railings or the bars across the windows. Again, that's going to add so much to it. But I'm really pleased I went for changing the light bluish grey tiles off of the side of the walls and going for the dark brown. It doesn't look as impressive on the screen as it does in person. It looks a lot better in person, but I'm happy that I've done that. Now, one other thing that I am wondering is whether or not these grey lines here are a little bit too thick. Now, it would be quite easy for me to reduce the size of those. Between each floor, it's resting on tiles. I could change those over to the reddish brown, and then that will reduce the thickness of that grey line. So that's just something I'm considering at the moment. In regards to this roof section at the top here, one thing I am considering doing is this part that we're using just here, these panels with the crosses on them, is actually putting that all the way around that top part. I think that will be in keeping with the rest of the build. I think it will look a lot better. But looking forward to working out where I'm going to be putting the statues on the actual structure as well. Also want to put some spotlights coming down so it's shining on different parts of the island as well. I think that will look good, and they'll obviously be lit up as well. There were some great comments in the video last week around the Arkham sign. People saying that they like the look of it, but from this angle, it didn't look right, and I totally agree. Obviously, Arkham's written backwards when you're looking at it from here. And one thing I am considering doing is actually making this as a brick archway going across there, and then the Arkham sign will be on the other side of it. So you won't be able to see it from this side, which I think will look a lot better. I want to do some work on that anyway, as I want to have statues on the front as well. Now, there were also a couple other comments, which I really do appreciate. They were very helpful. One person said about the flexi tubing. I was on about changing that out to black. And they did point out that it might make the writing harder to read. And it's totally correct. The H, for example, probably look more like a B if I use the black flex tubing. So I will stick to using the grey that I've got there. The other thing that somebody else suggested, or a couple of people suggested, was using minifigure hands for getting the angles on there, because it'll clip onto the actual flexi tubing a lot better, and I think that is a great idea. So I just need to get hold of several of them black minifigure hands. I don't particularly want to steal them from a minifigure, so I might have a look online and see what I can find. But yeah, I really want to concentrate on doing a lot more work around this area in the next update, try and get that looking as tidy as possible. Now, on doing this roof section this week, I've calculated pretty much the majority of the pieces that I need to get the roof section finished, such as these little pyramid pieces just here. And what I will also do is calculate how many more of the fence panels I'm going to need, so I can go all the way around the island where I need to do so. But yeah, really happy with how this is all coming together. It's so much fun building Arkham Island, and hopefully it's going to look really good as a standalone mock for when I take it to conventions. Anyway, that's all we have time for. I hope you've enjoyed the update. If you have, please remember to give us a big thumbs up. If you haven't already done so, please consider subscribing to the channel and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any future content on the channel. And if you know anybody else you think would be interested in building Gotham in Lego, if you could share the channel with them, it'd be much appreciated. Anyway, thanks for walking on by, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.